the fact that the commissioner's here, what does that mean to a coach when the commissioner shows up and actually will meet and talk with you?
I think it's a very positive sign. From my interactions with him, he's been very enjoyable. The report back from the leadership committee meeting, I thought sounded like it was wonderful dialogue. Sounds like he's open to listening. I haven't spent too much time with him in person, but I'm looking forward to when we can do that. But it's a good sign for the conference to start it off, going to see everybody and making sure everyone feels a part of it, I think.
He said he's going to spend an hour with you today. What are your things that you want to discuss or maybe even ask him?
How can I help? How can we help? What can we do as a department or a football program to help you accomplish the mission you have visioned for the Pac-12? And I'm sure there'll be some small talk and all that, but there's a lot going on in college football. Just love to hear where his mind is with it, and that's all right.
What are your thoughts on playoff expansion? Because it seems like that's a big topic.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a big topic. I can see pros and cons, right? I mean, if you're going to change something like that, there's going to be ripple effect and have an effect on whether it's bowl games, whether it's length of season. I kind of try to put that above my pay grade. I don't think I have an opinion on that. I don't think that's necessarily my job, but I'd love to hear, what messaging we can kind of collectively kind of go with in a lot of topics.
What did you see? I mean, you're getting closer to that first game. What did you see today?
Well, I think they're ready to play somebody else. Spending time with the scouts. I think the scouts deserve a ton of credit on every football team. But what our guys are doing unselfishly, I think, is definitely important in us getting to play that game be prepared the best way we can when we get there. More fine-tuning of game plan. It's been nice, I think, for both sides to see something different and start kind of adjusting instead of the normalcy of going against each other. And I think that's been a challenge and been a good mental, not necessarily challenge, but obstacle that we need to make sure we get over before we get to this game.
When do you shift from camp to game week?
I guess. No, you got to, but I guess I would say camp ended last Saturday, 6 days ago. Did a couple more days, Monday, Tuesday, on some of the stuff we wanted to get in. Really got into Utah State on Wednesday, and from here on out we'll be with them. But we have a lot to do still with game day procedures. So we got a lot of bodies. We got some new guys that are going to contribute, so I want to take them through that tomorrow and get them comfortable with their daily day of game preparation in the stadium.
When you have the first game of the season, is it easier to be playing it at home than it is if you have to go on the road? And I'm not talking about the opponent. I'm talking about everything you have to do leading up to the game.
Probably, and with the COVID element, I think it's more comfortable too, knowing what our process is. And I would say, I think most people would agree with that statement that you said.
In terms of the quarterback battle right now?
We're still down to Jarrett and Jaden. I feel comfortable that if we, I think Cam can do some things. I think Victor can do some things. So, but right now we gotta figure out who's going to take that first snap. And I don't know if that's going to be decided in the next 4 days, if that's going to go longer. Just they all have to be ready to play. I wish I could put a hard timeline on it. I think we pretty much followed what we were trying to do, getting it down to 2, but now it's really got to be some separation.
What's your ideal timeline for it?
Internally, let them know fairly soon. Externally, keep people guessing, if I'm being honest. But this is not psychological warfare right now. I think we're still evaluating.
Have you seen the level of competition ramp up because it's still open this late?
Yeah, and getting the more reps, there's more situations and throws and scenarios that I think that you get to judge and see how they play in situations like 2 minute and things like that. just narrowing two guys, getting majority of reps, just things happen that you can judge a little bit better. But I do like how we got, and Xavier Ward got a ton better, you know. I think he's got a bright future for us also.
How much of an emphasis this week is it figuring out how to divvy up the reps between those running backs, between the three of them?
Oh, I don't think that's as hard. I think they got a very unselfish group. They understand, you know, I think they like the idea that, you know, one guy's not going to take the whole game. And I think in a season where you're looking at 9 straight before a bye, and, you know, we only had however many games we had last year, I think it's going to prove to be a benefit for us in case that something happens, having at least 3 guys that we feel are high-level running backs for the offense.
Nick, a week before the first game, what do you like about this football team?
I like their focus. I think they've been able to really keep the circle tight, keep the outside noise as outside noise, and focus on getting better every day. I think there's a real commitment to each other, which is a good feeling when you get in close games, when you get in situations. I think we've grown a lot as a football team from last year, where there was a decent amount of selfishness and not a collective gold mindset, and I think we are much better in that department.
What concerns you? What makes you not go to sleep at night?
The unknowns of the first game. You know, there's some stuff in special teams that you got to make sure you address. There's some stuff with the tempo that they'll come with that you want to make sure you address. And you know where first game stuff, right? Where new coaches' first game stuff is even more of an uncertainty. You know, what have they melded together as an offense? What have they melded together as a defense? What have they watched? You know, and they're probably doing some of the same stuff, but at least for them, they got some stuff that we did last year and the last couple of years that I'm sure they've looked at and having a plan for it. And offensively, you know, we try to be very let me say it this way. We can see a bunch of stuff on film, and a whole new defensive thought process can come in because of what we do. It's similar to what option teams get. So there's got to be great communication, great observance by the receivers and quarterback and the coaches to kind of diagram or diagnose what their plan is and adjust from there. But as long as we follow our rules, take care of the football, make good decisions, play penalty free, you know, we feel like we got some rules built in that could help.
So you're not going to announce the quarterback publicly. Just what kind of is your?
Oh, I don't know that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I want to stand on that statement yet. It's, you know, there is an element to them not knowing who it is. I get that, and I think we can pretend like that doesn't matter, but that is something that happens in football. But in today's day and age, I think if you announce it to the team, you might as well announce it to everybody because of just the amount of access everyone has and rumors and things like that. So I don't know that I would play a tricky game at this point. I'm sorry, Brendan, I didn't really get your question, though.
I mean, you basically answered it,
okay.
So that's fine.
Okay.
Nick, you're a quarterback. Did you
Yes.
want to know the night, like early in the week, that you were the starter?
Probably. But
Does that help you then make the decision to let those guys know early?
well, I'm sure they want to know. If they want to know, they should win the job. You know, and they're both doing fine things. It's not a knock on them, but you got to leave no doubt. The decision should be made before the decision's made, if that makes sense.
The run and shoot tends to be about 60-40 pass to run. How much flexibility are you working with in that? Say, you know, Max is really hot. Are you willing to give him 25 carries in a game, or do you want to stick with that ratio?
Yeah, I'm not really interested in breaking individual records. I'd like to win football games, so whatever it takes. Which, if it's running the ball more than 60-40 or 70-30, and that helps us win, you know, we gotta do that. This team has put too much into all the investment needed to get to this point to let some numbers get in the way, and whatever that takes, that's what we'll do.
Last one for Rolovich.
just a really, I think Coach Dickert and the defensive coaches, the increase of football 101 within the defense, the effort they've put in. I think we've got a much smarter defensive football team than we had last year. I think obviously they feel comfortable with the defense a little more, but there's an investment in being sound, doing their job, understanding what their job is, and I'm not quite sure that was fully accepted last year. I think we were just trying to get through games, but I like that they feel like they have a role on this football team. Sometimes with an offensive head coach, you can get to a point where it's all offensive based, and I try very hard to be conscious of congratulating good football plays on either side of the ball. And they pose a lot of challenging stuff early on in camp for the offense, and I think that just got them better. So I think there's an excitement to play on that side of the ball too.